Welcome to Magic Arcanum. I'm Ryan Gomez. Behind the scenes is Nicole Letson, and we're so glad you're here because it's story time. Chandra Nalaar has been a part of Magic since her first appearance in 2007 as one of the game's original 5 planeswalkers on Lorwyn. But Core Set 2021 doesn't really capture any of that history. So, if you are new to things or curious about the lore for the first time, today we're going to look at some of her iconic cards and then put them into a flavorful Brawl Deck on Arena. But first, let me say thank you to my patrons who make this all possible. Flavor Wins has been a real treat, but we will be getting back to the bigger stories pretty soon. And if you want to vote on what topics we cover, then use the link down below and become a lore mage today. Okay, so who is Chandra? Where does she come from? And what kind of conditioner do you use for hair that is often on fire? As always, we'll start with the basics. Chandra Nalaar is a human planeswalker from Kaladesh. She is a pyromancer and uses red mana exclusively, mostly for burning stuff, but she can also conjure fiery elementals and phoenixes. Now, Chandra's story has undergone a bit of revision over the years to the point where some of her older stuff no longer really makes sense, or it is in direct contradiction to her current situation. The good news is you can ignore most of this, and that's what we're going to do. If, however, you do want to hear everything I've ever said about Chandra, I did cover her in an earlier video, and you can find that in our Classic Episodes playlist at your convenience. For today, though, I will give you the fundamentals of Chandra's history before we look at her showcase cards from M21. Chandra was born to Pia and Kiran Nalaar. They were Aether smugglers who resisted against the vice-like grip of the Consulate, the plane's oppressive government agency. What can I say? Sometimes art imitates life. In addition to regulating access to this wonderfully magical substance, the Consulate was also pretty down on magic users because anyone who had the ability to create their own fireworks would not be dependent on the Consulate. So eventually, a man named Brawl hunts down the Nalaar family and kills Kiran. He then sets the village they were hiding in on fire and blames it on Chandra, who was just beginning to learn about her own pyromancer abilities, because that's not going to be traumatizing or anything. In the confusion, Chandra's own mother went missing and was presumed dead. Chandra herself was captured and taken to the plane's largest city, Girapur, to be executed. Before Baral's blade could strike, however, Chandra's spark ignited and she was taken on her first random planeswalk. Chandra originally appeared in the 2007 set Lorwyn, but we didn't really get to see her home until the 2016 release of Magic Origins, which teased a world full of fabulous inventions and their inspired creators. The following year, we got to visit Kaladesh and experience the Aether Revolt, a rebellion against the Consulate led by the not-at-all-dead Pia Nalaar. I would say this is a shocking turn of events, but that's the wrong kind of burn for Chandra. And so Chandra is reunited with her mother, and we get one of the few cards that is an example of the emotions this color can represent beyond rage. Before joining the Gatewatch, Chandra had been tricked into helping release the Eldrazi on Zendikar, but since nobody blames her for that, and it never comes up again in her story, we could ignore it. The other event of note in her past is when she became an abbot at Carol Keep. This was a monastery on Regatha where they study pyromancy, but also personal freedom and individual choice. These lessons, along with seeing the corrupted consulate on her home plane control and kill its own citizens, gave Chandra a very rebellious attitude. She is distrusting of authority, and she is always willing to express her opinion on things to her friends on the Gatewatch. This sometimes comes across as a bad temper, and her impulsive nature sometimes does put the group into situations they are not prepared for. But Chandra is the heart of the team, and she is usually the one pushing them forward with her trademark fiery enthusiasm. All of this makes Chandra a compelling character, certainly worthy of being one of the game's iconic planeswalkers. She is bold and daring and jolly, and she is always trying to improve herself, and she would do anything to protect her friends and family. But she is not without controversy. In fact, there are 2 elements of her story I would like to discuss. First is her physical appearance. Chandra looks Irish, red hair, fair skin, sometimes with freckles. She's been drawn that way ever since her first card. Why is that a problem? Well, as Chandra's story developed and we learned she was from Kaladesh, it became clear that her style did not exactly match the inspiration for that plane. Consider, Kaladesh borrows a lot from Indian culture. The name itself is evocative of places like Bangladesh. And Chandra's name comes directly from the god of the moon in Hindu mythology. Further complicating things are her parents. Now, I was a bit of a nerd back in school, and having aced all of my science classes, I can tell you it is extremely unlikely that parents who look like this will produce offspring who looks like this. Now, when Chandra was created, the idea for Kaladesh probably didn't exist yet, so it's impossible to expect them to design a character for a world that is not a part of the multiverse, right? Well, they kind of did that with Gideon. It wasn't until his third card that they settled on him being from Theros, and then suddenly all of his designs started to incorporate a more Greek or at least Mediterranean feeling to them. They also dropped the second half of Kiora's name once they realized it was offensive to a certain group of people, but that is probably a story for another time. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is sometimes Wizards of the Coast will edit a character as new information comes to light, but for whatever reason, they declined to do that with Chandra as we learned more about her home plane. So keep that in mind as we delve into the other bit of controversy surrounding Chandra, and that is her romantic interests. Ever since working together to defeat the Eldrazi on Zendikar, Chandra and Nissa have shared a special bond, and for a long time after that, in many of the stories, Chandra struggled with how to communicate those feelings to Nissa. This formed a sort of ongoing period of discovery for Chandra. It was great for her character development, but also provided front and center in-game representation for people who do not usually get to see that in a mass market game. This all came to a screeching halt with the book War of the Spark Forsaken, in which Chandra declares, quite forcefully, that her love for Nissa is only as a friend, and her romantic interests are always men, specifically big burly men like Gideon, who had just sacrificed himself to save Liliana. This was a crushing blow to everyone who had been rooting for Chandra and Nissa to become a recognized couple. And by some measures, it was the worst part of the War of the Spark story. Now, I have read that book and talked about it before on the channel, and I am inclined to agree with a lot of the fans. There were some parts in there I really didn't like, but seeing them pull such a sudden and dramatic 180 on Chandra when they refused to do so in the past makes me feel like they have made some mistakes with the character, at least twice. Now, in a way, it's almost funny. Chandra is the most impulsive character on the Planeswalker roster. She is the least likely to have a plan for herself. And so it kind of fits that Wizards of the Coast seemed to not have a plan in place for her either. I can certainly forgive them for not knowing where Chandra's story would take her when they originally created her. What I cannot understand, though, is why they refused to update her design once they decided which world they wanted her to be a part of, especially because they've already proved they were willing to do that for other characters. As for the bit with Nissa, the rumor I hear going around is that as Magic grows in popularity in China, they do not want any potentially offensive character traits. So, since being gay is such a big no-no over there, they have decided to make those pathways inaccessible to two of their flagship planeswalkers. I personally do not buy that for a second. Somebody in this country decided what was best for Chandra, and they pushed that through, perhaps more than once. Was this person paid with money that would have been better spent on a more diverse pool of artists and authors? I cannot say for sure. What we do know is that now Wizards of the Coast is looking to hire a senior manager of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they are taking some steps in the right direction. Obviously, change will not come quickly, because as long as Teferi is around, you can't play things at instant speed. Sorry. Let me just be clear. I do love Magic the Gathering. It is a fantastic game, and I've been super proud to be a part of this community as Arcanum has grown. But if we're going to keep that momentum up, we need to make sure everyone feels welcome here. Anyway, back to Chandra and her new cards in Core Set 2021. They gave us some special frames to help identify which creatures are part of her menagerie. So let's take a closer look. Chandra, Heart of Fire. She has had many cards since Lorwyn, but they all stick pretty close to the same template. Deal damage and maybe kinda draw cards. This one works pretty well with her other supporting cards in M21 and does a reasonably good job of showing her renewed self-confidence post War of the Spark. Exiling cards off the top of your deck and being able to play them but only for a turn or two is often called impulsive draw. It's supposed to represent Red's impulsive nature and how they don't really have long-term plans so much as trying to make the best they can with what they have right now. Chandra's Incinerator. Kind of surprised that name wasn't taken yet. Aside from their connection on Zendikar, Nissa and Chandra also share an affinity for elementals, and they were a big part of M20 last year. I think some of the cards in this set are designed to give that tribe one more push before it rotates this fall. Chandra's Magmut. Red and white are the dog colors in M21, so this fits into that archetype, but this also enables non-combat damage, so it helps support some of the other cards in M21, and it's an elemental, so it works with both sets. Overall, this is a pretty well-designed common, and it even has a little Chandra hidden down there in the art. Chandra's Pyreling. Well, compared to the dog we just saw, this one's kind of a burnout for me. The ability can trigger more than once per turn, but you get diminishing returns from it, and this is the only lizard that has Chandra's name on it. I think she should stick to elementals, phoenixes, dogs, and cats. Now, we've established that her home plane is Kaladesh, and we've seen mountains there before. They do have a bit of an exaggerated design to them, but I don't think it's quite as extreme as what we see here in the showcase card frame. What do you think? Before we head over to Arena to look at the Chandra Brawl deck, first we need to cast her for our Magic movie. I'm going to put this character back on the track she should have been on since Kaladesh with my pick, Erin Kellyman. She was recently seen in Solo, a Star Wars movie, so she has some experience with fantasy sci-fi acting, and it's believable she would be from Kaladesh without giving up the iconic Chandra look. Alright, come along with me as I boot up Arena, and we're going to see if we can get some flavor wins for the first time playing Brawl. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. This is the Brawl deck for Chandra. We are going to use her new card from M21, Chandra Heart of Fire. I don't know why it's not showing up here, but it's not. All right. So this is a legendary planeswalker, and people have asked, what is Brawl? How does it work? Well, you need to pick a legendary creature or planeswalker to be your commander, and then all the other cards in your 60-card deck have to fit with their color identity. In this case, it's red, because Chandra's red. So every card in our deck is going to be red, and most of them, no, in fact, all of them, are fire-based. So there's no shock or lightning strikes or anything like that in here. Everything's got flames or fire in the picture. Lava coils and fire prophecies and pyrohelix, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to cover every card. There are some phoenixes, and there are some elementals, and some stuff like that, but there's nothing that Chandra could not create herself. There's no dragons or anything like that. Elemental Knight, kind of stretching it the most. That's as far as I would go. I will have the whole list available as a link down in the description. I think the best thing to do is just jump right into the game, and we'll see the cards as they come up. So here we go. All right, here we go with our first ever Brawl Canum. We got some mountains. We got an Ember Cat. We got one version of Chandra. And a Spellgorger Weird. I like it. Let's keep it. We are playing against Decapitated. Oh man. And their commander is Ashiok Nightmare Muse. So they're going to be a blue and black deck versus our red deck. I like our chances. We're pretty aggressive. We have lots of burn and removal in here. So hopefully we can kind of keep their board under control, but also spam out like little tokens and stuff. That is going to be hard for them to deal with. We will see. So there's our Ember Cat that actually kind of can ramp us. We can tap it for a red to cast an elemental or a Chandra. So next turn we could have 4 mana total. There it goes. We're starting to lose our mind already. So Brawl is a 60 card format, unlike Commander, which is 100, but everything is singleton except for our basic lands. So these beautiful, look at that mountain. If only it had like a little glow to it, it'd be perfect. All right, so we got 3 + 1 if we want to put down Fire Artisan. She wouldn't really be able to do much, so we could instead put down, yeah, Acolyte of Flame. And this version of Chandra can create 2 1/1 elemental creature tokens with haste. So that gives us 4 power on the board, and we're going to get this version of Ashiok out of here like that. Fortunately, those guys don't stick around, but that's okay. All right, so next turn, if the cat is still around, we'll have 3, 4, 5 mana. We could play our other Chandra. Thought Erasure. Erasure. What are they going to take away? Probably the other Chandra? That's what I would take. Ooh, interesting. They took Chandra's Triumph, which can only deal damage to creatures or planeswalkers. I guess they want to protect their other Ashiok. They might also have like Narset in here or something like that. All right, so we are up to 5 mana now. Do we want to play our commander? They could be sitting on some sort of counter spell with just 2 mana. They have blue. It's a little risky. But I think we're going to try it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did we just activate their trap card? Didn't mean like a quench or something? No, nothing. It resolves. All right, cool. So now, yeah, let's have her deal 2 damage. Burn, baby, burn. And then this one, we could just put loyalty counters on. I don't know that our other Chandra is going to actually survive. They might have Planeswalker removal for that one. Murderous Rider or something. They'll have double black for it next turn. So adding counters to her when she's not going to really get to cash them in. Not super great plan. All right, another swamp. Got the regular old Theros lands here. That's on theme for Ashiok. You know, I like it. All right, Thassa. With nothing on board, that's not really a big problem for us. So we could go, let's go Team Chandra. Triple. Look at this. Beautiful little triad of Chandras. We'll start by ticking her up. We hit a mountain, which is great because we can play that. I can't really cast anything else, though. This version, we will... Now I like putting counters on everybody because we get a lot of value out of that. This one will still just deal some damage. And the cat can even get in there for 2 more. Feeling like we're in good shape here. Every time I say that, though, we tend to hit something that punishes me. All right, Solemn Simulacrum. So that will let them get another land out. And when it dies, they get to draw a card. And they get to flicker it with Thassa. So they get another land out of it. We are not going to let this die. We're going to probably exile it with Lava Coil. First, let's see what this Chandra gives us. Another mountain. Fantastic. Then, yeah, if we coil this, then it doesn't die, so they don't get to draw a card. It just gets exiled instead. Oh no, they're going to time twist it. So I guess in that case we will just try to kill it because I don't want this thing to stick around. And we will exchange one of these extra mountains for, ooh, another Planeswalker. All right, so they do get the card from it dying, but that's okay. We will deal 2 damage. We will put counters on everybody. And then attack with a cat. We're in pretty good shape. 3 Planeswalkers against 3 cards in hand. They don't really have a board yet. An agent. I forget that this guy's legal in this format. So now we just lost our commander, which is an interesting one to take. But they get to take something else too. All right, so that's how quickly a game of Brawl can change. You can go from being in commanding lead. Thanks to just Agent of Treachery, you can lose 2/3 of your board. Cool. All right, well, we'll do a mountain. Do we have any way to kill this guy before he gets blinked again? Jaya, or Yaya, as I'm told to pronounce her name. I've never heard it said that way, but if that's what people in the comments think it should be, then that's fine. This version of Chandra can deal 2 damage to any target, or 4 damage to a target creature, so we can use that to kill the agent. I'm fine with that.
If you haven't heard of me,
So 4 damage, get rid of you.
let's give this a try.
Bingo, bingo. And then I think now
Find your fire
we're just going to have to
passion.
try and... I probably should have made tokens and attacked. I wasn't really thinking about that one. Misplay. Misplay. They're going to cash in
Next time,
7 counters. Kill my other Chandra. Draw 7 cards. I think we just lost the game. We went from being in super great position to being so far behind we don't really have a snowball's chance at this point. Again, thanks to the fantastic Agent of Treachery and Thassa Deep Dwelling. What a great fun combo for interactive Magic. Am I salty? I'm not salty. I'm just playing in character. Chandra would be upset about this, so I'm upset about this. It's fair. All right, but they are only at 11. Maybe we can just really pour on the burn here. Yep.
okay, jeez, enough.
So this one will do 2 damage to any target. If we have Yaya out as well, it will be 3 damage. Got 33 cards left in their deck. So do we. They have a little mill package in here with Drowned Secrets, Teferi's Tutelage. Slaying Fire. Now this is getting interesting. So we have 7. Oh, not enough to play the Planeswalker and the Burn spell. But I think we will still play her. Realizing again, they might very well have a counterspell. Okay, they do not. 2 damage to any target. We're going to go face. It's going to turn into 3 damage. And she can deal 2 damage to any target. Do we go face again? I think so. Because if we can get them down to just 4, we can Slaying Fire them for the win. We are very close to just burning them out, despite them having stolen most of our board. They also just gave us a Phoenix and a graveyard full of cards to escape it with. So this might turn out okay for Team Chandra after all. I'm excited to see what happens next. The first brawl on Magic Arcanum might end up being a flavor win. They're going to search their graveyard and library for any number of red instant or sorcery cards. Well, I don't think you have any red cards in there. So guess what, friend? You just earned yourself the oops! The oops! Although they do get 6 mana. So what can they do with 6 red mana? That's not going to help you. Are they going to try and mill me out? I'm at 26 cards. I don't think they're going to mill me out before this Phoenix and these Planeswalkers burn the rest of their life. Tutelage, tutelage, tutelage. Stack them up. It's fine. Totally fine. We're okay. We're still in great shape.
Sit back and watch it burn.
Then they decide to exile a card and play it. They get another land. Still have 4 red floating. Ton of mana available. Still trying to mill me out. 18, 14. 14 cards. Chandra don't care. Oh my goodness, this is so intense. Oh no! Thassa will be able to attack. They could kill one of my Planeswalkers. But who do they kill? They don't know that we're holding Slaying Fire. So that's 3 and this is 4. So we need 7 mana and we already have 7. So unless they can... we're down to just 4 cards. Oh my god. Can they get those last 4? Do they have enough to cast Ashiok? 1, 2, 3, 4. They do! That's a blue spell. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Listen to my whispers and see the horrid hymn.
Alright, we have to exile Spellgorger. Weird. Totally fine. But they are, I think, out of stuff to really do. kill the other Chandra. That's fine, because again, as long as we have the Phoenix and the Slaying Fire, we have lethal. Oh no, the wall! Oh my gosh! So we could deal just 4 with the Slaying Fire. Oh, that was such a close game. We almost had them. Look at that. We had it. Oh, that was the ridiculous thing. All right, let's do one more. All right, just in case you skipped ahead to this game and somehow did not watch the end of that first one, I'm not going to spoil what happened for you there. If you did stick with me through that game, thanks. Here we go again. We're going to keep these mountains and some early removal interaction. Planeswalker, I like it. We are playing against Sacrosanct with Yorion. Interesting. So the companions, when they are your commander, they don't have to follow the companion rule. So their deck is still only 60 cards, minus the ones that they already drew. And they don't have to pay 3 mana to get this thing into play or anything like that. They just get it. So they are still legendary creatures, which makes them interesting choices for companions. All right, we have really only one choice here, and that is to play the Magmut. And there's little tiny Chandra in the background with her dog. All right, only... Yeah, Spitfire will probably come down here. First we'll attack with the dog. And they're gonna put it on top of our library. I'm okay with that, because we still have plays for this turn and next turn. Smothering Tide, another fantastic fair magic card. We are not going to pay 2. Decline. We will... Yeah, I want to play her. Yeah, why not? Why not? So we can use her +1, but it's not going to actually do us any good because there's nothing we can draw here that we can play. So that card will be forever lost to exile. But that's okay. Next turn, she can help us find a 5th land if we still need it, which will be great because then we have our choice of planeswalkers. Or if we really need to kill some stuff, we can double cast a Greeting. Our opponent's still on 4 lands. And not much else. Alright, Tithe again. We're not going to pay that. We will use Chandra to try and find a 5th land. We did not. So we could use Pyrohelix. That will give our Spitfire a boost, but there's not really any good targets for it. So I think we'll just do a regular attack for 1. Put down the Magmut that they already know about. Or try to. Okay. And then we will save our instant speed interaction here for whatever they do. They are going to Prison Realm. What, the Fire Artisan?
Whatever.
That's actually okay. We got 2 turns of value out of her. I would have liked to have found a 5th land, but we're probably due to draw one anyway. Look at that. That's pretty cool. All right. Opponent still only on 4 lands themselves. So do we want to now pay? We don't really... Well, no, we just get our 5th... No, we're not going to pay for that. Decline. All right. So we are going to play Jaya, or Yaya. Or Yaya. Although I keep forgetting these treasure tokens, I guess means that they really do have 4 mana, and they could... No escape. That's a tragedy. That would have been great to have, because it would have made these so much better. But that's fine. So I think first we're going to actually use this to deal 1 damage, because that actually gives us +3, which is better than attacking for 2. So... Bingo bango. Now the Spitfire can get in. And we're still in pretty good shape. Next turn we'll be able to try resolving our other Chandra. Opponent still seems to be short lands. What do you got? What do you got, Synchrosect? Passes it back. Okay. So this time... I still don't really want to pay. Never want to pay. So we could try to resolve our commander, Chandra, now. And I think we're gonna. We're just gonna keep trying to get stuff through. I mean, sometimes it works. So we will deal 2 damage to their face. And then another one. And now I suspect this is going to get bounced. Maybe they've got like... oh, they do not! I thought for sure Brazen Borrower or somebody is waiting in the wings up here. Alright, so we effectively have lethal if they don't affect our side of the board somehow. But I'm sure they will. They've gone like 5 turns without doing anything. They're going to steal control of our commander. Okay. And now they could use it to deal 2 damage and get rid of the Magmut. Would not surprise me. Yep. Alright. Totally cool, totally cool. We are still not gonna ever pay for that. Decline. Red doesn't want to do that. So let's see. We could play our Acolyte. We could do Pyro Helix. Yeah, let's do that. Chandra, Acolyte of Flames. We'll have her make some little friends.
They're so cute.
And if we do Pyro Helix, there and there.
Leave me alone.
4, 5, 6. I should have done the extra damage to face. I didn't even really consider you can stack it up, I thought splitting it would be fine. They're down to 1, though. There's no way we're going to lose now, right? Surely we'll be okay here, right? They have 9 lives. Oh, my God. Punished. We are punished. Okay. I'm going to say we won that one, had I been thinking a little more clearly. But the impulsive nature of Chandra is to just act without really doing the math. So, what can you do? And red is really well known for their ability to get rid of enchantments. And the best part is when this thing gets like 8 counters. Oh no, they can't. They can't blink it with Yorion or they lose. Because whenever this leaves the battlefield, they lose. Okay, so we really just have to do 9 more counts of damage. Unreal. Yep. Not gonna pay for it. So 5 damage to a creature. We can double something. None of that helps. So, little friends, attack. Alright, so they've got 3 out of their 9 lives are now spent. Man, if I had only been thinking a little harder about Pyro Helix. Don't divide the damage. I'm sure people watching this at home, here comes Ugin. Here goes the game. Oh, let's see. You just get to, what, exile each permanent. That's 3 or less. You get to keep your board and kill mine, right? Yep. No, he just did 3 damage. Why would you not? Oh, okay.
I don't have enough
Okay.
spares right now.
Resolve. Not gonna let that. Alright, 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And we could double it and deal 10 damage. So we can get Ugin out of here. So let's do that. Double Soul Seer. Target. Double cast. Target. Okay, Ugin, not a problem anymore. We just have to worry about our own Chandra. This is ridiculous. This is why Brawl is such a beloved format here on Magic Arena. So many crazy things can happen. You can have your team stolen with mass manipulation, or agent of treachery, or killed by Ugin. Kasmina. Totally cool. That actually gives us some targets for stuff. We could even get a scry out of this, which might help us find some more ways to chip through the 9 lives, of which only 6 remain. The hubris. I gave them the oops emote. No, I gave a different person the oops emote. That didn't happen. All these games start to blend together when you play all day. Alright, opponent, you're down to 1 life, 1 card. Yep. Guess what? Guess what? Should we pay for it this time? Yeah, I guess we'll pay for it. Play land. We will... 3 damage, yep. Why is it extra? Oh, right. Kasmina makes it cost more. Phoenix. We will keep that on top. That could be good. A little hasty flying attacker. Ah, 9 lives. Of all the cards them to have when they're down to 1 against a mono red burn deck. Discard your hand. Draw some cards. Alright, so now they've got Mirror Maid, Simulacrum, and a Plains. So what happens if you Mirror Maid 9 lives? It's not legendary. So you could just have multiple... It's effectively resets. Well, no, but if the first one leaves anyway, they still lose. So I'm not worried about that. Not worried about that. They're going to play it anyway. What are they going to copy? I hope they copy 9 lives, because that's a waste of that card. Did they copy nothing? They copied nothing with it. Oh, they just played it because otherwise they have to lose it, and they probably want the devotion or something. All right, pay 2. You know what? That leaves us with plenty. Sure. Phoenix. What's it cost to pump? 3? Well, maybe if we hadn't paid, we would have been able to do it. So we could go after Chandra. I'm not worried about them using her ultimate because it's just red spells, which they won't have any. 9 lives is at 4. Although once they play Yorion, Spark double. So they're going to copy my Chandra. So they can deal 2 damage. But it's a Phoenix. We can get it back. We have enough cards to escape it. Although we won't be able to do that forever. Eventually they'll... Ah, there's everybody's favorite, Teferi. Yep. So do that. Bounce my Phoenix. Don't kill it. Just bounce it. Please? Please? Thinking about it. I don't know. I had such a good feel. I mean, again, we technically won this had I read the card. So why you're still watching, I don't know. It must be because of the mustache. So you've got Elspeth Conquers Death. So great. So my Phoenix will be exiled. I will not get to keep replaying the Phoenix. Fantastic. The blue-white control shell has taken control of the game at just 1 life, hiding behind their enchantment. This guy has haste, so nope. So we play him, we get an attack for 5. Do we just kill Teferi though, or do we... Yeah. Yeah, getting him out of there is probably better. I mean, it would have only been 1 more counter on 9 lives. And are they going to be able to deal with this? They can't really burn it. Even together, it's only 4 damage. So what are they going to blink with Yorion? They can reset Kasmina. They could swap Prison Realm. Hopefully they blink 9 lives, and we just win. Something tells me they know enough to not do that. But we can always hope. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What? That's a flavor win. We taunted our enemy so that they became so cross they committed a mistake. I think that's on flavor for Chandra. We just got under their skin and we won. We won. That's a flavor win. I think that's enough of this. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first Brawl edition of Flavor Win here on Magic Arcanum. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Make sure you check out the deck list. It's a pretty fun one. Lots of stuff to do there. Tons of planeswalkers, tons of burn spells, some phoenixes, some cats, some elementals. Everything you really need to have a good time on Magic Arena. Just watch out for those agents of treachery. They'll get you every time. Okay, that's it for today. We'll be back with Garrick to finish out the season. And who knows where we go after that. It's been fun, and I'll see you.